Okay guys, in today's video I've got Frank with us, and Frank is living in the same building actually that I used to live in Mocktown, Newtown in Lapu-Lapu, Cebu. So we're going to talk to him and see how he likes his condo life in Cebu and see what brought Frank out to the Philippines. So stick around. All right, Frank, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you coming onto the channel.
Thank you very much for asking me, Jim.
Yeah, no problem. And well, we've actually been friends now for a while. We've met up over a year ago, I think.
Yes. Last November.
Last
2022.
November, and that was just was that your initial trip to the Philippines?
Yes, for 2 months.
For 2 months, okay. And at that point, had you come to any decision on whether you were going to live here or not, or was this an exploratory type of?
You know, under watching many videos of you and some of the other vloggers out there, I learned it was worth coming out here and checking out. And then, I don't know if you remember, but we Zoomed a couple of calls, at least a half a dozen.
Yeah, we had some consultations, I remember, yeah.
Best money I ever spent, to be honest with you.
I appreciate it.
So, you know, the checklist that you had on the website helped me a lot. The consultations really helped. There wasn't a question I couldn't ask you that you had a great answer for.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate that.
So what, how did the Philippines come on your radar? Like, I mean, were you just sitting around one day and said, oh, Philippines would be a great place?
So I'm at the kitchen table, and I got my laptop. I'm doing some work, watching TV at the same time, and all of a sudden, Old Dog pops up.
Okay.
Followed by Filipina P, and then Geo. So
third place. Okay.
Yeah. But you were the most looked after as far as after a while, because you had all the checklists, you had the consultation, you know, you had a lot of offers that none of the other vloggers had. So that really helped solidify my decision in coming out here. Because if you think about it, you're packing up everything in the States, and then you're making a major move to the Philippines. And so you have to find people you really trust and that you respect. And that was you, brother.
Well, thank you. What did you do in the U.S. before you came out here?
So it was just before the pandemic. I was working for Toyota as a finance consultant manager. And I ended up just about ready to change jobs in the RV business as a director, a manager, finance director, manager's position, and COVID hit. So I'm on the job for about 3 weeks, and they put a hiring freeze, and because it was COVID, sales went down the toilet, of course, and I had a choice to either stay there and not make much money, because a lot of it was commission based, or retire. So at that point I says, you know, I couldn't find a better time to go than now. So this was back in 2020, 2021. And I think that's when you did the video on Odette. When you're
Yeah, that's when I was in Mocktown, Newtown.
Yeah, and I ended up moving to that same building.
Well, you know, I was in Mocktown, Newtown for 1 year, and I really enjoyed it. And at that time, though, it was the pandemic, and my rent was half the price. I think normally my rent would have probably been $35K or $40K. I was paying $20K. I was the only person living on my floor, and the whole building had less than 30% occupancy, and now it's a complete different story.
Oh yeah, it's packed, and Mocktown, Newtown has grown tremendously. You know, I was just watching one of the videos when you were out there walking around when they were just coming out, and it was empty, and now there's hardly any room to walk.
Yeah, it's a completely different setup. Is condo life, is that kind of your preferred style, you think?
Actually, I had a townhome in the States near Chicago, and I tried it. I was out searching, and I ended up on a very high floor, 15th floor, overlooking the ocean, and with a great budget. So I took your advice and on the leasing part of it, the paperwork, the contract, the negotiations, and everything that you had kind of taught, worked out to the T.
Good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. For me, I've said this with the last person I chatted with who lives in a condo, but when you're single, for me, a condo is kind of the way to go. You got security, you got all the amenities, and typically you got a generator. I know your place had some generator problems, but
yeah, we just last week we had a brownout that lasted for 2 days. We had a generator, but you get a couple of outlets that are working. You got the refrigerator, freezer working, but that's it. No AC, and you're sweating. So, but we got through it, and other than a couple of times where it was bad, it all seems to be working out pretty good. I love it, to be honest with you. Overlooking the ocean on the 15th floor. I mean, I'm very fortunate, and I got a good budget too.
Well, I know it's safe through a typhoon because I lived through it, the typhoon with the building moving around, and yeah. Now, do you see yourself staying in Cebu? Is Cebu kind of where you would think you'll stay?
Well, I ended up, thanks to some of the things you had said, I ended up getting a lease every 6 months for with an automatic renewal unless I want out for 6 months.
Okay.
So I got that for 2 years. So I was kind of fortunate. So I got a 6-month lease. I got the option of first refusal for another 6 months, and I could keep going like that for 2 years, which I thought was very beneficial for me.
Yeah,
I locked in on the rent, and I got a garage. I could park the car under, so that worked out pretty good for me.
If I can ask, what is your rent monthly for it's an interesting condo unit. Maybe you can explain a little bit more.
Yeah, so I have a 1-bedroom, 3-bathroom, believe it or not. So I have a maid's quarters with their own bathroom, but I use the maid's quarters as like a pantry. I got some nice stainless steel shelves, put them out there on wheels, and that's where I store a lot of the food. So, and I have a bathroom in the master bedroom and one in the living room. So my budget, just the condo, is $30,000 a month.
$30,000 for the rent.
Yes, $30,000 for the rent, and I pay $5,000 for the underground parking, which is right by the elevator. It works out great for me. So I go in there, I park, and I'm protected by the weather. I don't have to walk a half a mile to the parking lot, So it works out great. As far as my budget, I'm paying $35 for the rent in the garage, and my electric is about $80 a month US, and water is only 100 pesos.
Wow.
Yeah, 100 pesos, which is what, $10?
$2.
$2 rather. Yeah, $2. So I'm in that place for under $800 a month in Mactan, Newtown.
So under $800 basically includes all internet, water.
Internet's about $25 a month. So the internet, water, rent, and garage under $800.
And the electric?
The electric is about $80 a month.
$80 per month.
Included in that.
Okay. And what about, do you find yourself eating out a lot or eating in mostly?
Actually, I love cooking. So one of the things I didn't think about when I was in the States is I ended up buying a lot of my pressure cookers all over again, slow cookers and all that, an oven, small oven, because they don't come with ovens. So I ended up buying all of that when I moved out this way. Other than that, it worked out pretty good.
If I can ask, if you don't mind, Frank, what do you think your expenses are on a monthly basis, everything included.
Not counting the car or counting the car?
Yeah, I guess we can mention that separately.
Yeah, so just the place and eating out and with food about maybe $1,300, and that's if I'm buying good food, going to Ruskin's that you turn me on to for the meat, Bellcrest for some of the meats.
Right.
You know, so it's about 13, at the high end 1,400.
So yeah, 1,400. I think I was spending. I told myself about 1,500 a month when I was living there. That was actually with less cost for rent, but I was also traveling a lot more. But your car, now this is one of those things that you decided to rent a car. How much is that rently?
So I originally rented a Wego, right?
Toyota Wego.
Right, and the reason why I started with a Wego because it was Old Dog New Tricks that bought that orange Wego. All right, so I ended up getting one, and that was about $400 a month, just under $400 US a month. So, but that the person Grace was she thought that was just a little bit too small, so I ended up upgrading to a Vios. It's like a smaller version of a Camry, and that, now I'm paying about $530 a month. So, and that's really price competitive. You know, I don't think I'm overpaying, but if you want to lease a car, that's what you're gonna end up being paying. It's a 2023. I got it with 5,000 miles on it. And
are you going to get rid of this car, you think? Do you find yourself needing it or not really?
yeah, I think I'm gonna end up buying one now. You know,
You do?
yeah, I think I'm gonna go back to the Wego.
Okay.
I think that'll serve my needs, and I've always wanted to get a scooter when I was out here, so I'm gonna go to the scooter. I'm waiting for the 2024 Yamahas. So I'm going to wait for that, and then I'm going to switch to a Wego, and I'm going to end up purchasing it.
So it sounds like you're going to make this a permanent home here, huh?
Most definitely. I actually love the Philippines, the people, the culture. You know, there's a lot of good people out here. I love the churches out here, you know, and I'm looking forward to a very happy life.
Do you think most people are... I myself, and I found a lot of people really like the condo living. I think for most people, condo life is very easy because it's furnished, everything's taken care of. You know?
Yeah, you know, mine was furnished, but there was a lot of items that were aged. So I told the landlord to take them out of there. I ended up buying a brand new couch, a couple of TV sets, you know, and some other items that, you know, I felt more comfortable with, you know.
What do you think your initial startup was? Like, how much money do you think you initially needed to kind of get the whole ball rolling to move out here?
Probably between 5,000 and 8,000 US, but I'm completely set up. I had to buy my own. I didn't like the dishes and the silverware, all the pots and pans. I didn't like any of the stuff that they had, so I bought all my own. All of the cookware, you know, because I love cooking, ovens and all that. I ended up buying on my own. So, you know, I would say between 5,000 and 8,000. But to me, that was worth every dime, you know, because I don't go out to the restaurants often. You know, I'll cook at home.
Oh, yeah, it shows you really can live in the Philippines for a very reasonable amount. I think we'll end the video by telling them a little bit about how you've recently started up a YouTube channel. So what is your YouTube channel about, and what can they find on that channel?
So it's more about the history and the culture of the Philippines, you know. But I have you, Dog, Mark, to thank for that, because you kind of led me down that path. So I'm going to try and be as good as you guys were, and I'm going to give it a shot, you know.
Very good. And what is your channel, the name?
So it's called Frank's PH, all one word. And I got 10 videos out there now. and it's working out pretty well according to what you told me.
Oh, very good. So there will be a link for Frank's channel down in the description. Check it out. He's got a variety of different topics, and he has a bunch of interesting topics coming up that he has showed me. So thank you, Frank, for being on the channel. I appreciate it.
And Gio, thank you for all the help in the past, for the years that passed.
Yeah, no
and
problem.
for the years to come.
Well, thanks a lot, Frank. Take care.
All right, thank you, Gio.